Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Free for all Friday. 888-589-8840 is the number to call. Now, talking about this immigration again, and our last caller, you could hear the frustration about the fact that they played by the rules. They ran into delays and frustrations and obstacles. Meanwhile, these people that have broken our laws are going to be rewarded by Marco Rubio with a guaranteed path to citizenship. That is rewarding lawbreaking. That is unjust, it is unbiblical, and it is un-American. And it is embarrassing that you have a so-called conservative like Marco Rubio that's leading the parade on this deal. I'm looking at a piece right here from Director Blue blog spot, and it just talks about what our last caller was talking about. You and I, in our own country, are second-class citizens. And he walks through the different kinds of crimes that are addressed in Senate Bill 744, the Marco Rubio Permanent Democratic Majority Bill, and the consequences for illegal aliens for those acts, and the consequences for U.S. citizens for those acts. So misdemeanor offenses, you can commit a misdemeanor offense. This can include driving under the influence. It can include assault. It can include battery. It can include crimes of domestic violence. Under the Marco Rubio Permanent Democratic Majority Bill, if an illegal alien commits those crimes, he is eligible for those crimes to be waived by the Director of Homeland Security. Now, for an American citizen like you and me, we are at risk for a year in jail for every offense. We do not get a pass on committing misdemeanors. We do not get a pass on driving under the influence. We do not get a pass for committing assault. We do not get a pass for committing battery. We do not get a pass for committing crimes of domestic violence, nor should we. That's why we have laws. But illegal aliens, all of that can be waived at the discretion of Janet Napolitano. Now, here's a crime: falsely representing or knowingly using a Social Security number obtained with false information. That's a crime. That can be waived by Janet Napolitano. So you're an illegal alien, you're using a bogus Social Security number. Janet Napolitano feels sorry for you. She can waive it. You and I, American citizens, that is a felony which is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. If we start fooling around with Social Security numbers, we can go to prison for 5 years. Illegal alien, they get a pass on that. Falsely claiming citizenship on Form I-9. Again, that can be waived by Janet Napolitano. For you and me, that's a felony punishable by up to 3 years in prison. Knowingly altering a Social Security card. That can be waived. That's a crime. Can be waived by Janet Napolitano. It is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison for you and me. A document fraud to prove eligibility for employment. For us, that's a felony punishable by up to 15 years in prison. We can go to prison for 15 years for document fraud. For an illegal alien, that can be waived by Janet Napolitano. Willful failure to pay tax or other sort of tax fraud, imprisonment of up to 1 year or a fine of up to $25,000 or both for you and me. For illegal alien, eligible to be waived in order to get provisional legalization status. Willful attempt to evade or defeat any tax or payment of a tax. We can go to prison for up to 5 years for that, pay a fine of up to $100,000. Illegal alien, Big Sis feels sorry for you. She will waive it right now. Unlawfully present, and I won't bother to go on, but you clearly see the point of this. We are second-class citizens in our own country. They get waivers, they get breaks for criminal behavior that you and I do not get. They can get guns. We can't get guns. They can get guns. We've got Eric Holder sending guns down to Mexico for them. So, you just see justice here has been turned completely upside down. Now, one other factor, and this is clip 7, that we need to understand about this whole illegal immigration thing. This is not about compassion. Now, liberals are going to try to tell you this is just about feeling sorry for these illegal aliens who are just looking for a better life. This is about compassion. That's all about. It is absolutely not. This is about one thing. It's about socialism. It is about Marxism. And it is about democratic votes. That's what this whole thing is about. It's about Democrats getting a permanent majority. And they know that that's what this is about. This is intentional on their part. It's deliberate. That's their goal. That's their strategy. They don't care about compassion. They don't even care about these people. They don't. Their compassion is totally bogus. These people only matter to them as potential voters. And lest you think I'm making this up, I want to go back to a speech that was given in June 2nd of 2009. This is by the International Executive Vice President of SEIU. That's the union, Service Employees Union. Those are the guys that beat up Kenneth Gladney at that Tea Party event for waving a Gadsden flag. That SEIU, they're just thugs and union punks. And his name is Eliseo Medina, so he's Hispanic. And he was talking about the election results in 2008. And he said, look, this is what this whole thing about immigration is all about. It's all about votes for the Democratic Party. It's not about compassion. It's not about giving people a shot at a better life. This is about guaranteeing a permanent Democratic majority until the end of time, which Marco Rubio wants to give them. Let's listen. This is Eliseo Medina, 2009.
When they voted in November, they voted overwhelmingly for progressive candidates. Barack Obama got 2 out of every 3 voters that showed up. And so I think there's 2 things, very quickly, that matter for the progressive community. Number 1, if we are to expect this electorate to win, the progressive community needs to solidly be on the side of immigrants. That will solidify and expand the progressive coalition for the future. And let me tell you, when you are in the middle of a fight for your life, you will remember who was there with you. And immigrants count on progressives to be able to do that. Number 2, we reformed the immigration laws. It puts 12 million people on the path to citizenship and eventually voters. Can you imagine if we have even the same ratio, 2 out of 3, if we have 8 million new voters that care about our issue and will be voting, we will create a governing coalition for the long term, not just for an election cycle.
Well, there you have it. I mean, we've been saying that from day one on this deal. Hispanic immigrants are going to vote for Democrats. They're wired to do that. It's in their DNA. They come from socialist countries, whether they come from Mexico or Central America or South America. They come from socialist countries. Socialism is in their DNA. What they look for, what they expect, what they want is big government. They want welfare programs. They want government benefits. That's why they're coming to the United States. We've got bigger and better welfare programs. We give away more goodies. They can get more benefits by coming to America and tapping in to our system. That's why they're leaving Mexico, because we can give them more free stuff than they can get in Mexico. And this guy's saying, look, 2 out of 3, he's admitting it. Eliseo Medina, he's Hispanic. 2 out of 3 Hispanic immigrants are going to vote Democrat. If we can get these guys legalized, if we can get them registered to vote, we will have a permanent Democratic majority until the end of time. That's what these Republicans are doing that are a part of this. It's just inexcusable. And it's I don't know any other way to put it, but it is electorally, it is stupid, stupid, stupid. I just watched that movie the other night, The Rainmaker, where the insurance company turned down the guy that was dying of leukemia, and they turned her down 7 times. They finally sent an 8th letter turning her down again, saying, you must be stupid, stupid, stupid. And, of course, they won $50 million from the insurance company in the settlement. But I think, man, that could apply to Marco Rubio and to John McCain and to Lindsey Graham and any Republican who votes for this monstrosity. They must be stupid, stupid, stupid. Only way to explain it. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Gary, Benton, Louisiana. Gary, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
I was wanting to speak about the blood moons.
Yeah.
Yeah, astronomically, the moon rises in the shadow of the Earth,
Okay.
and like light bends in water, it's called refraction.
Yeah.
Part of the sun's light bends through the atmosphere of the Earth, and then picks up a reddish tint.
Yeah. That's why you get like a red at
Right.
sunset. Uh-huh.
Now, and there's four coming. There's and they coincide with Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles.
Okay. Now is
Which is
a blood moon, is it always a full moon?
It has to be, yes.
And it has to be so in order for it to be a blood moon, it can't just be that the moon has this reddish tint. It's got to be a full moon with a reddish tint.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it rises in the shadow of the Earth.
All right.
And I think one of the four is actually going to be visible from Israel. It's not, usually you have to be in the right spot
Yeah.
to see such, but that's what's coming. That's a blood moon.
All right. And, in fact, I think we're going to have Jan Markell from Olive Tree Ministries on next week to talk about this, because she's done quite a bit of work on this, and these blood moons do. It's almost providential the way they coincide with the Passover on the calendar. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate the call. Anything else you want to add on that subject?
I just want to say one thing, too.
Yes, sir.
The lesser light, it's big enough to cover the sun at certain times.
You're talking about the moon?
Right, the moon's
Yeah.
big enough to hide the disk of the sun.
Yeah, that's where you get
Sometimes
a solar eclipse.
Apogee and perigee, it may show
Uh-huh.
rays and not. There's variances in it. But the interesting thing is that of all the moons throughout the universe, our moon is the biggest one.
And it's just the perfect right size to blot out the sun.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, almost like somebody designed it that way. Well, thank you, Gary. I appreciate that very, very much. All right, we come back. We'll take more of your phone calls, play some more sound bites. And again, just going back to that sound bite we just played, there's a Hispanic activist, and he's admitting this thing about comprehensive immigration reform is about one thing. It's about a Democratic majority until the end of time. It's a stupid, moronic thing to fall for this thing, and yet we've got Republicans falling right into that trap. Focal Point, AFR Talk.